Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. Phenomenal panel, great topics tonight. And as always, we want to thank everybody who's here early for showing up early. We do appreciate it. We're going to get some intros as we kind of wind up the topics. And we're going to start with Colt Eastwood. Hit 50,000 subscribers today. Good job, bud.
Holy smokes. I didn't know if that would ever happen, but it did. And you know what?
A year ago, it would happen.
I don't know. It was you did it, I guess. Everybody did it, you know. It's shady mostly.
You did it. You did it. But,
I'm actually really ticked off because I literally just paused Red Dead. I think I'm like right toward the end, and I'm like getting all emotional, and I'm like, oh, it's RDX time. So there's different emotions going on.
Hey, we've also got D Batch. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. I also reached 50. Oh, wait. I gotta take a zero off. Okay. I'm almost at 5,000 subs. I just need 5 more and then I'll get to 5,000. That'd be a good milestone.
Hey, 5 people go sub to D right now. D's gonna put his link in the description. We can announce it when it happens, D. Just keep that eye out.
I gotta say, I'm in a really good mood. So many good games to be playing right now. It's a great season. Lots of news topics. We got the Game Awards. I'm ready. I'm excited. Let's go.
Oh yeah, that's what gaming's about. I'm supposed to be happy about this shit, not always finding this stupid petty bullshit, huh? We've also got Zauker 87 here with us today, the newest member of RDX podcast. What have you been up to?
Playing games, man. Playing a shit ton of games, having fun. Put out a review for Battlefield 5, which absolutely blew my mind and surprised me. You guys should really check that out.
Good point now.
Yeah, pretty much. Go, yeah. Been playing with Dealer a bunch, you know, Shady, everybody. It's been a good time, man, and I'm glad to be here. And the chat seems hyped. They're excited to have us.
The chat's I say it all the time. We got the best chat ever. Hey, we also got So Shady. How you been, bud?
I've been damn good, as always. It's a pleasure to be back here. I can't wait to get into some of these topics, man. I've been playing Battlefield 5 online. Woo! Stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Stunning, no matter what anybody says. We've also got Ripley. Thanks for joining us, bud. I figured I'd ask you on. I see you on Twitter all the time. Like, hey, let's get this guy on here.
Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure, and let's get the show. Let's talk games. Come on.
Talk some games. Hey, we got to give a shout out to over 200 people already here. Hit that like button if you could, as we give our sponsors a shout out. Because these guys, hey, they go all out for us, and we do appreciate it. We do have Gucci Duffel Bag. We got Prime Suspect. We've got Michael Bohm. We got Channing Pennington. We've got Guillermo Cabillo. We've got the Darge Knight. We've also got Lethal Papa, and we've got Robert Prather. Thank you guys so much for what you do. You guys are fucking amazing. And speaking of. Over the past couple of videos, I've been asking the patrons to choose what games they want me to add to the 13 or 14 I've got already in the list to give away. And pretty much overwhelmingly, everybody already bought Red Dead. So I'm buying Battlefield 5. That just came out. So I'm going to put that post up right after the show, and you guys can make your selection, and I'll announce that winner on Thursday. Okay, so Battlefield 5 just came out. I want to give a day or so for people to be able to kind of go there and get their choice in. So I'll be giving a copy of Battlefield 5 and a bunch of other shit, depending on what you choose on Thursday. Sony ditching E3 damage control. Shall we? What are we gonna do? What are you gonna do? We're gonna
E3. I've never heard of that. Is that some kind of video game show or something? What is that?
Well, here's the deal. Let me inform you because I've never heard of it either. Now, so here's what's funny: is EXO a little fan convention, right? That's what it is according to Microsoft. It's their equivalent to a bigger and better fan fest, but they've incorporated some game related stuff in there. That was a big deal the other week, right?
Oh yeah.
And now Sony have officially, and this is not a troll, it's legitimate. I did a video on this. Sony have officially pulled out of E3. We're going to get into as to why, but long story short, they pulled out of E3. Of course, 5 seconds later, damage control, right? It's not a relevant event, even though it's getting more and more popular, more and more people are going. We understand that there are more outlets that cover this stuff outside of E3 now than ever. But at the end of the day, whether it's relevant or not, every one of us look forward to E3. All year long, we talked about, hey, what we might see at E3. For years now, the same people that damage controlled it yesterday, day before, were talking about how awesome E3 was, or how Sony won E3, or blah, blah, blah. But now, it doesn't matter. even though XO matters so much. It's really weird. XO, and this is something Shady said in the party, XO was so important, but E3, no one gives a fuck. So, what, Colt, give me your kind of initial thoughts when you're seeing some of the stuff out there, and chat as well. Please join in.
Yeah, they were really critical of XO18, and really it was important to them that E3 2018 was one for Sony and not for Microsoft. The past two E3s, Microsoft has critically won the E3s by showing more games, and
even according to the media, right?
According to the media, and according to like some of the online polls and some of the media engagement and the audience engagement, yeah. The big difference is Sony has shown a couple of major games that Xbox doesn't have, so that, you know, people try to give Sony the automatic win. But if that's so important, now all of a sudden they're just pretending like Sony's too big for E3. And I'll just end my statement and let the rest of the panel talk by saying they think E3 is dying, but E3 is continually going up 5 to 10% year on year in engagement and audience and all that stuff.
Well, let's say it's going down 5 to 10% year on year, right?
Okay.
Nevertheless, those same people still looked forward to it and hyped it up all year round.
Absolutely, yeah.
So at the end of the day, them not going to E3 does not benefit you as a fan at all. Shady, what's your take on this?
I think it's ridiculous, quite frankly. I mean, as a video game fan, it pisses me off that they're not at E3. I absolutely love E3, and it's going to be basically a third content less. As far as why they're doing it, I mean, it's pretty obvious. They don't have anything new to show at all. And this whole narrative of it's because they're working on the PS5 behind the scenes. Hey, last I checked, Xbox is working on the next Xbox. They're not pulling out of fucking the biggest show of the year during the driest of spells, during the sparsest of game years. Xbox was still there, goddammit, and going first every single year. Not only is Sony not going this year at all, what are they going to come crawling back the year after, and it's going to be huge again? I don't know what to say about it. It upsets me as a gamer. I'm not sure how these diehard Sony guys are even attempting to damage control this. Just admit it sucks. Hope that whatever show they got cooking up in the background is something big. I don't know why they would go somewhere else when there's already millions of eyes over here. Seems to me like they're afraid to compete. I don't know what to say, man.
I'd like to add, take that clip out of context a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, record that last 10 seconds.
Shut up, baby Shady.
I'd also like to add that if Xbox did this, even though we know they've got a phenomenal amount of investment, literally doubling the amount of studios they've got on offer over the past 6 months, if Xbox did this, they would be done. It'd be the end of the world, and they would have bailed because they had nothing to show. People refuse to admit that Sony may be a little light on content because they've had a phenomenal year. Even though Sony have admitted last E3 that they've only got 4 games to show. 4 games for the rest of the generation, pretty much. They showed and released 2 of those since then. 2 left, pretty much. And they've got some stuff working in the background, just like Microsoft. But at the end of the day, we know that they're low on games for the rest of the gen. They've said it's the end of the life cycle of the PS4. And it's kind of nuts. I think it's a big double standard here. Ripley, what's your thoughts on this?
It's bad. I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge PlayStation fan, but I still think they should be there because it means there's more conferences and more announcements to see. But
and most importantly, competition, right? There's competition.
Yeah, competition. I think she made a point there by saying that doesn't the whole thing with the damage control with they're making PS5. I mean, it's not an excuse to not go to E3 and to show new games or even your third-party deals that you're supposed to have, like Call of Duty, should be there. It's
what I
weird.
found odd, Ripley, last year they had the marketing rights to Red Dead, Destiny, Call of Duty, a bunch of other games, Star Wars Battlefront.
Yep.
And they really underutilized those third-party games on their stage this year at E3. If you remember,
they didn't show them, right?
They didn't really show any of them at all.
No, they really didn't. I think that upsets some of these companies, man. What are they paying for? So at the end of the day, I wouldn't be surprised. Microsoft's throwing bucket loads of cash around these days that a lot of these companies jump ship and are marketed under Microsoft's wing, which is another reason why Sony didn't show up. Is everyone is with Microsoft. They have maybe some first-party stuff now to show They bought 7 new studios. We're going to see something from a couple of them, I think. I'm not surprised that they're running.
No, I don't think they're running. I think that their sales numbers speak volumes to third parties. I think third parties enjoy being on that stage. But I understand what you're saying. I just don't think it's quite to that extent. Here's what I do know is that now that Sony are gone, everybody is coming to the Microsoft press conference. Yeah. That means possibly Rocksteady and Crystal Dynamics with their DC and Avengers game on the same stage potentially, which is really nuts. Think about it. You're the only player in town. Xbox dominated last year's E3. That's even according to pretty much every single site out there. That means you're going to have the best of the best there, including things like Cyberpunk. That's a great show for Xbox. Somehow you're going to get people saying, Sony still won. Zalker, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just think that, everybody's saying, like, this is the one I've seen the most is Sony blew their load too early. And it's like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, to be honest, what would they have shown if they didn't? Like, think about it. If they didn't show Ghost of Tsushima, if they didn't show Death Stranding so early, they're going to have 1 or 2 exclusives shown. That's it. Look at their last E3. And before last E3, they said, it's going to be a little smaller and a little more personal. That's what I remember them saying. And they did that with you. Yeah, now it's like, it's going to be a little small. And then now it's just, we're not going to even be there. Fuck off. That's what they're doing. They have nothing to show. And people are not seeing that they're taking the hit for this year. And Microsoft, if you saw, right when they announced it, we're on point. They put their Twitter up. They're like, we're going to be there. And, we're going to be there for the fans. And now they get like you just said, Dealer, they're going to get the pick of the litter of third-party deals that they want. Because all the third-party deals are not going to go to Sony and be like, yeah, we'll wait for your December PSX or late year PSX. Sounds great. No, they're going to be at E3 showing their game, and they're going to put it on the biggest stage at E3, which is Microsoft. It's done. They're the biggest stage. That's it. Everybody's going to be on there. Now, do I think Microsoft's going to have some pressure? Yeah, I actually do think that since all eyes are on them, they're going to have a lot more pressure put on them. But I think they're going to try to deliver. We can speculate all we want and say what we want about it, but this is Microsoft's time to take momentum into the next generation and put the pressure on Sony to show something at the end of the year.
Now, Tryhard Fan just said something in the chat. He says they have stuff to show. They're choosing not to show it. I agree. I think all of these companies have stuff to show. Yep. But my point is kind of referencing this comment, which shout out to Tryhard. He's a good guy, good supporter of the show. Microsoft, we know they have stuff to show. Phil Spencer's already talked about how they could have shown things last year at E3, but decided not to do so. But at XO, people wanted new announcements from 6-month-old retooled studios, or it was a fail. You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's definitely a double standard here in some areas. I like to give credit to where it's due. I like that Sony at least were very transparent with this, but at the end of the day, for fans that have done nothing but hype E3 up for years and lied to themselves, even like last year, saying they won E3 when they didn't. They got dominated, 50-something games to like 12 or some shit. When it comes to the primary showcases, you can't sit there and tell me you're better off. You like it better when Sony aren't showing you an E3 conference.
Well, I think
go ahead, Colt.
I think mine's real short. I think Sony fans are going to have a lot of games to see at E3 because Microsoft will show half of the games that'll be on PS4. They're going to be tuning into the Microsoft show to see what's coming for their console.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, this rhetoric is coming from the same dudes that had their measuring tapes out, measuring the little inches of floor space for Microsoft's thing last year. So, I mean, it matters when you're going for foot space, but it doesn't matter at all when you just get the hell out.
You're talking about the Xbox booth guys that were measuring the Xbox booth?
Yeah, the floor space.
Hey, how much floor space you got this year, jackass?
and the other thing I've been seeing too is the damage control of E3 is extremely expensive. Get the hell out of here. I don't care. I don't care about Sony's money and what they're going to save, and all eyes are going to be at their show that they can control, and it's going to be cheaper for them. No, show up and show us things that we want to see. We're gamers. We're greedy. goddammit.
Can they afford it, soccer?
I don't know if they can afford it. Who knows? Maybe that's
one of the questions. Like, they're wondering if Sony can afford to do E3 and a couple other things like PSX next year.
Well, if they can't, then I have my backyard. I'll rent it to you guys. It'll be great. We'll have a nice little showing.
I can't imagine. I don't believe that it's a money issue. Like, what is the?
That's just an excuse, man. That's just an excuse they're using.
It reminds me of people that were afraid for Microsoft's money with Game Pass. It's like, why are they doing this? They'll lose money. Like, why are you worried? You benefit as a consumer either way, right?
I mean, and they just put, like, how many studios did they buy? 600 developers. Like, look at everybody they're hiring. I'm not worried about Microsoft's money. I actually see them putting more money than I've ever seen before into games.
Even if they're losing money, I don't. As long as I'm getting stuff, yeah.
Enjoy Game Pass until it puts them in the bankrupt. Yeah, exactly.
Let's movie pass it. Ripley, you got any kind of other thoughts? And then we'll come to D on the afterwards. But you got any kind of final thoughts on your end on this? Some stupid stuff you've seen out there on Twitter?
Oh, I've seen a lot of stupid shit. Oh my freaking god! I mean, it's funny because it seems like Sony can do no wrong. Last year, with E3, Sony won because of 4 games and a guy playing on a flute or whatever. And that
was a badass flute solo.
Oh, it was pretty good. It was, and it'll be so funny if next year, Sony's not there and they'll say Sony still won E3. That'll be funny to see that. And Microsoft can show fucking so many great games and everything, and they'll, Sony Spirit, they still won E3. That will show really that media is really biased. Issue, it's not money issue. It's not money issue. It's just their
an excuse, right?
Yeah, it's just a bullshit excuse. Sony's not really. The whole thing is just very strange because over 20 years, Sony's been there doing E3 shows, and now it's out of the blue. They're not going there.
This is their first one. They're skipping, right? So
first is 1995. So it's. But
it's interesting.
We'll see.
Interesting, yeah. Hey, Jay,
it's interesting.
Super chat. He says Colt has the best gaming videos. That's an obvious shot at Zauker.
He always twists it. He always has to twist it.
Damn.
Oh,
we want to thank you, Jay Blaze. Happy holidays, bud.
Thanks, bud.
And Colton does have some great videos.
I think he means Shady because I think that's a shot to tell Shady to get off his butt. Start making some videos, baby.
Hey, D-Betch, what does this mean for Sony? And if they're not doing E3 because they're working on PS5 and they're working up an announcement, even though that Xbox and PlayStation are probably releasing their next-gen console in the same year, what does this mean for Sony here?
Like anybody else, when you pull out, usually you're trying to avoid something. I think they don't want to show up at E3 showing the same games that they showed for the last 3 years. I think they're going to get some backlash for that. Even if they show a newer build of the game, they're still basically going to be showing the same stuff. I think they're trying to coast out the rest of this generation because it's starting to wrap out. So they don't feel the need to, or they don't want to go to E3 this year because they know they got something planned later on in the year. We're all speculating pretty much a PlayStation 5 announcement. But to be honest with you, I see all of the damage controlling out there on Twitter and everybody saying, oh, E3 is irrelevant or it costs money or they want to do it on their own time and yada, yada, yada. Over all the years, we all get excited for E3 because all of these companies come out and shoot their best shot. And every year we like to see the competition between these companies, and I look forward to it. This year, the fact that there's only going to be Nintendo and Microsoft there, as much as I'm a Microsoft fan, and as much as I think it is good for Microsoft that all eyes are on them, it's not good for gamers in general. And I think it puts a little bit of a damper on E3, if we can even call it E3 anymore. We probably got to call it E2 now. I don't know, but I gotta say it's sad. I like to see Sony there. I like to see their conference. I like to see Microsoft's conference. Not so much Nintendo and EA and Ubisoft and all that stuff. And they'll be sorely missed, to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. I think they'll be back next year, but it sucks nonetheless.
Well, I gotta say, D, well, most people may use that method because they're avoiding something. Sony isn't most people. And if you if you listen to these zealots out here, they're pulling out because they're getting ready to deliver the money shot. And I'm just not sure that's the case, man. I'm really not too sure that's the case. I think they just don't have anything outside of what we've already seen to show until the next gen is a legitimate thing. And I think that's at least a year away before they show that, really.
Well, in either case, what we do know is that Fallout 76 sucks.
43.
We should just go ahead and move forward. We got a ton of great topics ahead, but we do have to cover the latest and greatest releases here. We got to give a shout out to over 450 people watching us live already, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to over 300 before the end of the show. It really helps. Maybe share this on Twitter or Grindr. So Fallout 76 is definitely, man, it's getting hammered. I think it's a 49 on Metacritic right now on PS4 and in the 60s on Xbox. It's getting destroyed.
Oof.
I dodged a bullet here by canceling this pre-order. Colt, so did you.
You whispered me to one night. You're like, we're on party chat, and you're like, Psst, Colt. I'm like, yeah, what's up? Cancel your pre-order. For what? Fallout 76. Todd Howard came to me in a dream.
Mikey Barr told me this game's going to be fucking trash. Cancel your pre-order.
Dealer walked into an elevator, and Mikey Barr's in the corner. He's like, Psst, cancel your pre-order. of what?
Anybody here surprised at Fallout? I mean, honestly, they weren't. The fact that they said there's a full-on beta running alongside the full release, it was your biggest clue right there. There's no real in-game. IGN keeps updating their review in progress because Bethesda said, fuck you, we're not going to send out our codes anymore so you can review them day one, which many people saw as a non-issue considering they're generally quality titles. But now with Fallout 76 being probably their lowest rated game in 10 or more years, at least several years, we got to kind of question that policy now, especially with our online attitude. The IGN review in progress has only gotten worse. The guy's like, I'm level 50. The more I play the game, the less I want to play the game. There's no in-game. There's really no point to the game. Now, I'm sure there are some of you out there that are enjoying this. Give us your thoughts in the chat. Maybe we can read some of those off because we don't have the game. So I'm sure some of you guys like it. But apparently, it's not doing the greatest. Zalker, is this kind of surprising to you at all? Or
I'm going to be honest. It's not too surprising. I mean, it's getting freaking destroyed, but I think that a lot of people were expecting another Elder Scrolls at E3. And when they showed Fallout 76, people were kind of like, okay, I mean, we just had a Fallout a couple years ago, and it's kind of time for an Elder Scrolls. And then on top of it, they were like, but it's not like a Fallout. There's no NPCs, and you're going to just play with a bunch of people, and there's no real reason to play the game except to walk around and build a base. And that's literally what they were showing, is building your base, and that's pretty much it. And people were not, like, at E3, you could just feel that people just did not want this. And Bethesda, it felt like they were kind of cramming it down their throats, like, hey, keep playing this. And then they showed Elder Scrolls at the end, but if people don't know, like, we're not getting an Elder Scrolls game this entire generation except for the online version, which a lot of the hardcore didn't really want. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a huge backlash because the way they go is they do a Fallout, then an Elder Scrolls, a Fallout, then an Elder Scrolls. So people kind of got used to that. And now they're not getting what they want, which was an Elder Scrolls. And now everybody's just sitting there like bashing this game. And on top of it, it's bug ridden, which if you're online is a terrible thing to have. And it's the first time they're trying to do something this big and they're fumbling it terribly.
Big paid experiment. Hey, Miguel in the super chat says, what? Sony is out of E3, of course. No flute, no banjo. You will be missed. So, shout out to you, Miguel.
There's no flute, there's no banjo. I did hear Microsoft did hire this world's smallest violin player to play in Sony's absence. I do have Fallout 76, because my game share partner, he bought it, so I have access to it. I played it a bit. There's no doubt it's hollow. This is a sandbox. You play with your friends. You go out there, you're exploring. You're picking up 18 million pounds of junk to build a fun base for you guys. And if that's not what other people think is fun, then this game really isn't for them. I think it's kind of shitty because Bethesda was very upfront and transparent about what the game was the entire time. What is there? What's not there? There's no NPCs. Like, we all knew these things, at least the people that looked into the game at all. And we're still screaming and yelling.
Hey, this is going to be trash.
Well, hey, I mean, it's not trash, but I think people's expectations for it were unrealistic considering what they said the game was. Like, they were very open about what was there, and people just decided not to look at that stuff and just cry foul the entire time.
And while I fit in the server, how many people are you in this world with?
I think it's some like 12 or even 20, but it's very, like, the world is gigantic. So once everyone starts spreading out past the beginning part, it's supposed to be very uncommon to come across each other, which I think is a good thing. The PvP is it's not exactly the greatest. It's kind of clunky, and it makes it feel like a wasteland. You're not supposed to be coming up on dudes every other corner. It was just a nuclear apocalypse that, you know, you're one of the first vaults that has come out to kind of rebuild the world. So it's understandable that there's not much there, lore-wise, whatever. But the game is far from perfect. The combat to me feels very hollow. It kind of feels like Sea of Thieves. You shoot stuff and it reacts a second to 3 seconds later from what you've done. The death animations are extremely stiff and repetitive. It's just missing a lot of the charm that I enjoyed about Fallout myself. And while I think a lot of the fan base was maybe looking for an Elder Scrolls, I don't think that those two fan bases overlap as much as everyone thinks. I mean, there's obviously fans of both, but I could give two shits about Elder Scrolls. Really, I'm kind of burnt out on some of the fantasy when it comes to games. But when Fallout, that's right up my alley, man. I like that. I like that motif, that genre. So I'm sort of I'm bummed out.
Years for another Fallout experience.
Yeah, I'm bummed out that it wasn't what everyone wanted and it just couldn't be so much more. But they have dedicated, like, this game is going to go on forever. I mean, that was their words, perpetual content for free. So I'm assuming and hoping that it does improve over time. Like I said, I have access to it through my game share partner, so it's not costing me nothing. But I'm looking forward to jumping back in here and there and kind of seeing what they have done with it. The world is pretty awesome to explore.
Well, the thing that I saw was cool during E3 was you can like drop bombs, like you have to collect certain codes and you can drop bombs, and I was like, that seems cool, and people did that, and it crashed the servers. Like people got the codes and dropped like a bomb or two, and it crashed the servers. Like it just crashed them.
They're dropping 6-digit codes.
Yeah, they're just like, and they're just like, oh, cool. I didn't even get to see it explode. Like they literally just like they did all this work and then nothing.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate because that's supposed to initiate the quote unquote end game stuff. Like there is no story, so there's no end game to a narrative. But once the nukes drop, it changes the landscape over there, and you have to go in with your hardcore radioactive suits and stuff because there's super rare materials that you can start pulling out of those zones to, I mean, obviously just build more things with. But that's kind of what they're going for. And with it breaking there, obviously that sucks. But again, I'm sure that it'll get repaired, fixed.
Hey,
it was pretty bad. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what were you going to say?
No, I say it was pretty bad. They dropped 4 nukes at one time and it crashed the whole server. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, hide these damn codes better. Fuck.
I mean, how do you, they got to the end game pretty quick then if they drop that many. Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to over 500 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Colt, you and I went pretty hard in Fallout 4, the traditional Fallout experience, who I think it's a great game to this day. Got like 1,100 gamer score in that bitch. Went pretty hard. And the fact that this one, we did dodge a bullet. I still believe that. I'll pick it up on sale, but a lot of people dodged a bullet apparently because its sales are down 80% from Fallout 4, and Fallout 4 did phenomenally well. So don't worry, this game's still going to sell millions and millions. But I think over in the UK anyway, that kind of speaks volumes. It could be indicative of sales over here in the States. What are your thoughts on such a dramatic drop off there?
I don't know. I think of how excited I was when I first saw the game, and I was like, oh, I thought it was going to be like a little Fallout Shelter thing. So I don't know what happened. My expectations dropped just as much as the review score. It's really, I mean, it's not really a joke. Like I was like, I think it was Shady that was saying, or Zocker was saying, this isn't what we wanted. But I was sitting there watching E3 going, holy crap. I thought this was going to be like a little Fallout Shelter thing in like 3D. Like oh my gosh, this looks really cool. It's like almost like a real Fallout game. And now like my expectations have totally changed. So I think
this will put a little bit of hold on Bethesda's thought process when it comes to
I think.
Well, think about it. This is a big experiment and beta for Elder Scrolls 6 multiplayer. Well, and if they can't get this right, do you think that that's like, okay, maybe we shouldn't put multiplayer in Elder Scrolls 6 until we get this right? This is a 46 on PS4 right now.
Yeah, but did Elder Scrolls Online, like it scored okay, but I didn't enjoy that game at all.
Well, what they're trying to do is do like a traditional Fallout world and gameplay, and in an online game. Where
I mean, it's a great.
Online isn't really Skyrim type gameplay. It's like an entirely different MMO in the Elder Scrolls world.
No, on paper, it's an excellent idea. We've played the game in party chat, wishing that we could build together and then go out and loot and bring stuff back. And that's Fallout 76. But my problem with the game is I should really wait 2 months and pick the game up. But by then, I don't think I'll care.
Well, even beyond
other games on the horizon.
I'm with you, Colt, on that. Like, it sounds good on paper. This was something I wanted from Fallout in my mind really bad. Playing the older ones was like, man, I wish I could have my buddies with me as we go out and explore and loot stuff. It would be awesome. But in practice, especially in Fallout 76, where all of your missions are given to you via computers, so you're reading pages of text, they still have all those little data entries that you can read to flesh out the lore, or you're listening to audio tapes for like 30 seconds or a minute and a half explaining stuff. And I don't think either of those is very good when it comes to co-op. You're in a party with other guys hooting and hollering, yelling at each other. Some guy just found something over here. He's outside fighting a rad roach with a baseball bat, and you're trying to you're like trying to listen to the stupid audio tape, or you're telling the boys like, hey guys, just wait 15-20 minutes while I read the lore in this computer. Like, it just doesn't work in actuality as much as we all kind of wanted it to, which sort of sucks.
Hey, Greg Wagner in the chat says he got it for free with his Robot White Xbox One X. He's enjoying the game, but then again, it was free.
I can't get past it. I don't know how people that love the game can get past those graphics. Those graphics are just so dated, and the animations are just horrible. I don't know. I've never been a big fan of the game. And I think instead of concentrate, well, they need to get their game working properly, of course. But if they can't even update their graphics engine, and the next two games are going to be using the same engines, I don't know if there's much hope for them, to be honest.
I don't think they are. Elder Scrolls 6 is using a different engine.
Oh, it's going to use a different engine?
Yeah, they said they weren't even making Elder Scrolls 6 until they developed an all-new engine. So that was all new stuff. Miguel in the Super Chat says, I'm sure the quality of life and bug stuff will get patched in. I guess we'll kind of wait and see. And mod support will be interesting to see. I don't think you'll see that for a very long time, though. I know we're running this and stretching this particular topic out. It is a brand new game, and it's Bethesda's first kind of Metacritic bomb in a very long time. But, you know, just to kind of cap it off, the Spyro trilogy even outdid Fallout in sales.
Wow.
Though Fallout did generate more revenue, apparently, because Spyro's a $40 game, Fallout 60. So, and by the way, the Spyro game, I don't even play these types of games, but I'm having fun with the damn game. What can I say?
Yes, me too. I'm enjoying it. It's bright as hell. It's so bright.
You're drowning out your mic, bud. You're eating your mic.
Me? I'm not making any
Sounds fine.
Me?
Yeah. I don't know. You were just a little. I don't know. Maybe it's something with it, but yeah, Spyro it's a good game. I gotta say, it's well made. It's using Unreal Engine 4. There's apparently no HDR, which is a fucking crime in a game that colorful. And it's only running at 1440 like the Pro. They capped it at the same resolution, but it still looks really good. And I gotta say, it's a good time. It's kind of a brainless platformer where you can just sit in a party and talk. You know what the fuck you're supposed to do, and you just go. So I don't know. If you're on the fence, I gotta say it is quality. Hey, we got Gears Pop gameplay, Zalker. You saw this. What were your thoughts? Gears Pop is Microsoft's mobile take on Gears of War. And then you got Gears Tactic, which is the PC version. What did you see from this gameplay? What did it remind you of? And what do you think this is going to do in terms of score-wise?
I think it's going to do pretty good, actually. It looked like a lot of fun. You're facing another guy, and you're kind of going back and forth and dropping like heroes and different types of villains and characters within the game to take out towers and then his base. So you have like these resources, and you keep dropping, and you know they go and fight each other in the middle, and they just keep moving forward. So you can't really control them, and it just looks really cool. Like you have to do strategy, you have to use your tactics, and you got to outwit the person and beat them. And it looks like a game that you could just pop on your phone, play with one hand, and just fucking chill. Like that's what I think they were trying to go with, is something that you could just mess around with.
What game did they borrow these ideas from?
It's like a Clash of Titans almost kind of game where you just like keep going and attacking, and you take out the base, and you know you just face someone. It's all PvP. You don't face computers. So it's I like that kind of stuff. And I don't really play mobile games, but Gears is my favorite franchise in Xbox. So I'm going to give it a shot, and it looks a lot of fun. Rod Ferguson was discussing it. He put a video out. It looks pretty badass, man. And the graphics look fun. The Funko Pop really fits in well with it. That graphic design and the artistic choice that they chose. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, the puddles were great. And then it was just a good little game, man. It looks fun, and they're having a soft launch coming out early 2019, or they said pretty damn soon. So they're gonna have a soft launch, release it in certain areas, and then bring it out. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Rod Ferguson's a rock star, man. That dude, just
Rod's a pimp.
he is a pimp.
Salty.
Right,
Saltiest in the chat.
What'd he say?
I'm not going to read it. He's awesome, though.
Hey, Colt, so that's Gears Pop. Not too much on it. It's coming out sooner than later. Pretty interesting. He also did hint that tactics and stuff was coming to Xbox One, as we told you it would. Stuff like that. But Cliffy B... Cliffy B on Suicide Watch, he says he's never making another game again, Colt. And just in case you don't know, because we always got to give some context, Cliffy B is a guy who he was one of the creative leads on Gears of War. He gave the guns the crunch and the chainsaw idea and stuff, and he fell off and made Lawbreakers and got herpes. And now he's done making games. So what are your thoughts on this, Colt? And then I want to go to Ripley.
Cliffy B is like the Tom DeLonge of Blink-182 of gaming. Like he was the rock star. He had like the big hits. For a little short time, and he had some stuff that just didn't go right. And now he's running a bookstore that teaches you all about aliens. I really like music, and I just kind of look at that like what a waste. This guy made some cool music back in the day. If you like that sort of thing, but. Cliffy's, I've watched him on Twitter, and I think he's having a hard time being happy. You ride that success train for 10, 15 years, and then you put out Lawbreakers, and everyone just makes fun of you. I was one of them, and I feel bad about it. And then he does that dog crap game. Do you remember what it's called? The Battle Royale thing, right? The 80s themed, like, extreme, green Mountain Dew, and
you mean the one that they had a dream of making for years? When he said it, he goes, "This is what we've been dreaming for years."
No, some guy that like does their filing at the office was like making that on his Apple IIe, and Cliffy just took it,
his Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. So I feel bad, but I mean, he's taking so much heat, he just can't do it anymore. And I'm sure he has enough money to just do what he wants. But Dealer has a different take on that because he's a huge Gears fan.
Well, I mean, I really like Gears, and I have a lot of faith in Gears 5. We'll talk about more of that later. Yeah. But I don't think Cliffy has the money that he likes to act like he has. I do know that people used to see him driving Lamborghinis around and stuff. He used to rent those or borrow them from Todd Sweeney or Tim Sweeney, right? The guy from Epic. What the fuck is his name?
Tim Sweeney.
Yeah, Tim Sweeney used to borrow his Lamborghinis and stuff. And then Cliffy moved his studio to the Midwest because of costs, because it was infinitely cheaper to run a studio out of the middle of the country than in California, which makes sense, right? You're looking at longevity there. But I don't know what he's going to do now. Maybe he'll consult on how to make corny ass games. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Ripley, what are your thoughts on Cliffy B? Is he dead? What's going on?
Actually, I wanted to say something. Well, actually, first and foremost, Colt, you pull my heartstring because I'm a huge Blink-182 fan, and yeah, Tom DeLonge, yeah, I love that guy though. But Cliffy B, I mean, Lawbreakers, that was
he's done. He's done with everything.
That was a flop. I mean, I tried that game; it was trash. Didn't like it. And then he tried that other one. What the fuck was it called?
We're still trying to remember, but it was the arena game we're talking about.
Yeah, it was another one that after when Lawbreakers failed, he tried to do another game. It also flopped. I mean, and now he's, I'm no longer going to make any video games, I personally think that Microsoft should hire him to work at Coalition to assist Rod on making the next Gears of War game. I mean, that's just my personal opinion because I'm a huge Gears of War fan.
You think they could get the dream team back together?
Oh, man, I would love that. I mean, Cliffy B, he really, I mean, when I was a kid in the early 2000s and he was working on Unreal Tournament, that was one of my favorite games on PC. And then once I saw he's making Gears, I was like, oh, shit. And then with the chainsaw and everything, Gears, what it is, and
I'd like to see Rod, because keep in mind, we've covered this before. Rod had stated that in Gears 4, they played it safe. They wanted to prove they could make a Gears game and not piss everybody off. And they did it starting from nothing with a new team in 2.5 years on a new engine they had never used before. Now they've got substantially more time, a bigger team, and they said they're done. They're done playing it safe. They got through with the first game. They proved it to be a success. It sold millions and millions and millions, apparently. And now they're taking risks. I'd like to see Rod at the helm with maximum creative freedom here. or create a vision and see what they can do.
Radical Heights was Cliffy
Radical
B's
Heights.
Battle
Yeah,
Royale, by the way.
Yeah, see, that's how shitty it was. I couldn't remember that name.
Nobody did.
Radical Heights.
Game died in a week.
Radical flops.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of radical flops, D-Batch, Hitman 2 sales are down 90% in the UK.
Oh, man.
And that's from Hitman Absolution, the last game that came out. That game got destroyed, like hard. Why did they release it next to Red Dead 2 or anything else that anyone wanted to play?
I don't know. I think they should have released this game maybe in January when the season was slowing down. But I think the last game, how they released it episodic, I think that left a bad taste in people's mouths, and they just kind of forgot about this game. I've been playing the game. All the missions are there. Like I think it's fantastic. Actually, graphically, it looks great. It plays fantastic.
I think it's reviewing well, right? Like it's not a bad game, and it's actually a full game from day one this time.
Actually, I think it's actually one of the better Hitman games, to be honest with you. I'm having a blast with it. But like I said, I think it just left a bad taste in gamers' mouth from the last time when they released it. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is just, captivating gamers right now. So it's getting left out. If they're smart, they should maybe do a Black Friday deal on it or something. Maybe some gamers will pick it up that way.
I heard the first mission was headshotting IO Interactive into the dirt. No?
You guys don't notice that when Shady speaks, it's like it blows the mic out?
Not really.
I can't hear you now. What?
Speak again, Shady. I think it's just.
Am I blowing the mic out?
There you go. Now that's better. That's a lot. Yeah, you come in and it's like really hard.
Yeah,
It's not that bad.
Here, let me adjust because I think you come in talking harder than you end, and it just blows the mic out. You know what I'm saying? I want you to sound as best as possible. That's why I'm trying to figure this out. So go ahead and say what you're saying, Shady.
Oh, no, that was just that. I thought I heard the first mission was maybe headshot in the company and just calling it a day. Like that's some serious decline in numbers.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be into Hitman, like always, and I just never found myself able to get into any of them. I'm not sure what it is. Me problem, game problem, both. I don't know.
It's hard. It takes a lot of trial and error, to be honest with you. So, but it's a good game. I like it. Like when it all comes together and you murder somebody in cold blood and you're trying to escape. There's some type of adrenaline rush that comes with that. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Zaire, we're not taking shots at you, dude. You got to watch the show, man. You can't believe anything these crackheads are talking about on Twitter.
What is that about?
People are mixed on Zaire, but like I said before, I still respect the guy. I understand what he's doing. I got no hard feelings against Zaire, even though I've never even talked about the guy on the show or anything, even though
we've had him on the show. He's one of us.
Well, they continuously talk and say that we didn't ask for new games. We've been talking about new games for over a year now. Stuff like that. I never understood it. We don't kind of spread that or push ill will towards anyone like that. So maybe people think we're talking about them when we're not, but we're sitting here talking about Gears of War, and then I get a screenshot of this fucking text. So I don't know. Once again, it's crumb-side fucks in this community that run to people and say, this person's talking about you. And then they make the mistake of not watching the show themselves. So we haven't referenced anybody that I consider to be more of a friend, whether they consider me one or not. But anyway, what were we talking about?
Gears of War.
We're talking about Hitman. It was Hitman too.
Let's move on. Let's talk about that PUBG stuff.
Oh yeah, PUBG. It's supposed to get an update, right? That was supposed to offer us performance mode, and that got delayed until next month. Supposedly supposed to, like I said, give us better frame rates. Anybody here give two shits about this?
I actually am happy that they're delaying it. I'm going to take a little shot at Sea of Thieves. When they would bring out updates, they wouldn't really test it, and it would crash servers. People's games would crash, and it was really messed up. So they made their beta testing, and they've really emphasized it and apologized to the fans. And I'm happy that Bluehole's doing this. Take the time that you need to make the game better. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, at least they're patching it, but at the same time, it runs better on my goddamn toaster than it does on the Xbox.
Yeah, that game is done. Let's just be honest. We have Call of Duty Battlefield that far outperforms PUBG. You have Battlefield that's going to be releasing their
so excited for that.
Their take on Battle Royale soon. So and Fortnite killed them already. Fortnite ate their food. So
D, do you have stock in Fortnite too, motherfucker?
Honestly tell you, have you played Fortnite?
I'm with D on this one.
I don't really like. I'm not really into the building shit in Fortnite. Like, I just want to shoot people. Like, I like build all these shits and jump up in the sky to shoot people. I'm not really into that, but it plays a lot better than PUBG, and it's fun. You get consistent frame rates. There's not really any glitches, and it's pretty decent.
So you like the beginning of the game. You don't like the end. Sorry, Colt. But you don't like the beginning of the game. You like or not. I'm sorry. You like the beginning, not the end of the game. Because at the end of the goddamn game, it's like Fix It Felix over there. There's fucking buildings everywhere, and you're running around, and you're like, what the hell's happening? And people are like,
and
skyrocketing.
Kill myself. Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I Fortnite, like, I give mad respect to it because it's so massively popular, and I can see why. I've said this before. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but like, you got to give it to Fortnite for like drawing in millions of gamers who probably didn't game, and they're buying consoles and they're playing games. Like, the game is, it's a reason why it's popular. It's fun, and people get hooked on it, and
it's everywhere.
And like, people just want to make fun of it.
Fortnite even plays well on my S9 and my Note. Like, unbelievable.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to almost 600 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Share this bitch around. So yeah, Fortnite definitely dominant, but it was also free. It's something people forget. PUBG, I've never seen it more irrelevant, I guess. No offense to anybody who likes it, but we've got some really big games out there with Battle Royale. Battlefield's coming out with Battle Royale as well, and we can say that Battlefield 5, that it just controls so fucking well.
Oh man,
it controls so well. So yeah, PUBG, that performance mode stuff has been delayed. Gears of War 5, Rod Ferguson and the team hinting at the villain of the game, saying that it was a very natural decision, meaning it's probably somebody that we already know.
Can I start this off?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh. I think that I have a theory on this. I think that Kate is going to turn into the villain and give us some fucking Sarah Kerrigan from StarCraft feels. Give us the Queen of the fucking Blades. I want to see her go to the dark side. It looks awesome. They've already hinted at it during the trailer. Like, she might not have a choice in this because her DNA is going to take over. And if you played the game at the end of 4, I don't care. Spoilers. The way that spoiler. The way that her mom looks at the end really gave me like StarCraft vibes of the way she was like drawn and brought out. Like, man, I can't wait. I hope they go like that route so we can see someone that we actually care about go to the dark side and then see, JD, whoever, battle that and everybody else battle that. Like, I just think that's going to be awesome.
It's an epic arm wrestling match, right?
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. He's going to hit that little steroid.
Yep. Yeah. If you didn't beat Gears 4, absolute must. I helped D-Batch beat it. That was the first game he beat in 16 years. I was proud of him. D-Batch and I ran through it, and it was a good time, right, D?
Yeah, it was a good time. At the end, though, I was a little disappointed. Like, that's it. That's how it ends. And, I was clamoring for it. So I can't wait for the next version, man. Oh, I can't wait.
What risks do you think they're going? Because they're really adamant that they are done fucking around with worrying about what people think of the risks that they are choosing. It looks like they're doing some infestation type stuff from StarCraft, like you said, like the swarm emerging with human technology, for instance, the DBs and the swarm and the locust, the swarm now are merging together. That's that famous kind of clip of the robot looking thing flipping his leg over its head and the gun pops out.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He merged what was Locust Swarm, and they kind of form a new enemy.
Yeah. Looks awesome.
Yeah, the movements look so unnatural, like they were possessed, man.
Like it, the fucking clown from It. Crawling out of that fridge or whatever it was.
Yeah, and they said at XO, like, they had a big 40-minute panel with Rod Ferguson and one of the actors that played Dell. You guys should really check it out. They put some cool little details in there, but they talked about, like, we're going to try to do something that we've never done in Gears. So, I mean, I don't think that just means gameplay and, like, the scope of the game. I think that means story. I think they're going to really, I think they're going to swing for the goddamn fences, and I'm really hyped for it, goddammit.
Yeah, they did say they're going to do some new stuff. They also said it's going to run at 60 frames. Like, that's the base, that's the mode for people on the X. It's going to run at 60, and it's apparently going to scale up to 4K this time. They're not going to cap the resolution because, as we covered before, Digital Foundry tested the power draw on the GPU in the 1080p 60 mode on Gears 4, and it was only drawing 110 watts, whereas in the 4K mode, it actually takes advantage of the GPU a little more. The GPU has to work a little harder to do 4K, where there's a lot of overhead just sitting there at 1080p 60. The GPU was sucking like 170 watts. So that means that they had all this frames left over, or they could have put into resolution and they just didn't in the 60 mode. And I'm guessing to preserve the bottlenecks and the drops, keep those as low as possible. Will it hit 4K, D? Are you gonna make a crazy D prediction?
Yeah, it'll hit 4K 30. I'm pretty sure of that.
No, I know that. What about 60? Because it's running 60. I think 60 is the only mode the X is gonna have this time.
If it hits 4K 60, that's a fucking milestone for that type of game. To be honest with you, I'll have to wait to call that. But I did see that you put out a tweet recently saying that. Some of these games could do with the 1440p mode. So I hope this game has some options too. 1440p 60 hertz would be great too on this game. I think the CPU can do it. I think the CPU is strong enough to give us 1440p 60. So at the very minimum, I'd like to see that mode. We got like Samsung Q9 TVs that support a 1440p mode and they have FreeSync enabled as well. So that'd be great.
Yeah, I just really dove into the OLED here, and this thing has 120 hertz support as well at 1080p. But yeah, I mean, higher frame rates and stuff. I'd say it's definitely the year of the X when it comes to making gains, so to speak, for a console in 1 year. They're getting a lot, like GPU accelerated particles, for instance. Battlefield 5 is doing this a lot. Like a lot of things are going over the GPU, so you can really get some of those really cool effects even on a slower CPU like the Jaguar. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. Colt, I know you beat Gears 4. You're looking forward to Gears 5. We know
help me.
I know. We know it's going to have like a hub world mentality. You're going to be able to go to the desert, the fucking ice lakes, whatever. You're driving the little thing around. And who knows? Do you think it's going to have like a quest system or maybe some side missions you can choose what you want to do first?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think they're going to kind of let you free ball some of it, I guess, as the word would be. When you were saying that, I was like, I wonder if they'll interject a tiny bit of RPG into it. Like maybe, I don't know. It doesn't really fit a Gears game, but when you go a little bit open world, you kind of have to add in some kind of incentive to do more than just the main corridor of the game, right? So I never really thought about that before, but holy crap, the game looks really cool. Yeah. So that's kind of something to think about.
It does. It looks really, really good. Just really curious on who that villain is going to be. I guess we will have to wait and see. I had always speculated that Kate never killed her mom at the end. And if you haven't beat Gears 2 years later, I'm sorry. If you haven't beat Gears 4 2 years later, it's still worth the experience. But yeah, I speculated she didn't kill her mom at the end. She let her go. And I think that's kind of what's going to play off of. New Xbox update, guys. They're adding the whole shopping cart thing is coming, as well as wish lists. Rand did a video on this. I encourage you guys to check that out, support that video. Apparently, it's going to be available very soon. And yeah, this is, I don't know. He showed us how this worked. It's kind of pretty straightforward. You put games in there that you want to try to mooch, apparently. That's what this is going to be used for.
Don't use that word.
I gotta give a shout out to the panel here. We don't try to mooch games off everybody in the chat. We do appreciate it, the support just for showing up. That's enough for us. But nonetheless, no shade to anybody who does, even though that was kind of shade. We do have to say that it is going to be used for that quite a bit on Twitter, and I'm just gonna love seeing that over and over. They let you put pre-orderable games in there, Ripley, and right now you can't buy pre-order games as gifts. So not much of a point to that. But do you think you're getting use out of this?
I think so. It's a pretty cool feature. I already used it a few times on during the Black Friday sale. I bought. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like what PlayStation has. You can just add to the cart. What sucks is that you don't have. Well, there's tax on it. Well, the thing with PlayStation's PSN store is that the difference is you have the with the card. Essentially, it works like a credit card. No, like a wallet. You add money, like a gift card. But that's why I don't know. It's kind of because my Xbox One is in beta right now, so it crashed 3 times. It didn't work properly for me. And that's
the danger of the dashboard beta. There is you're bound to get fucked eventually.
But it's still pretty cool. I like the feature. I think I saw a video from the guy. What's his name? With the million gamer score, Royale 4.
Yeah,
He had a video. He showed that he bought a controller, and it was in there on his Xbox One dashboard. So it's pretty cool what they're trying to integrate Microsoft Store, the online with the Xbox Store. I mean, it's getting there. It's not as good yet, but they're
moving
gonna tweak
along,
the.
It's making some progress, right?
Of course, it's making progress. Yeah, I mean, they're software engineers. They're geniuses at it, I guess. So they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I hope they evolve on it. I don't know if you guys use Steam's wish list, but I put a couple games on my Steam wish list, and when games go on sale, it emails you, "Hey, this game in your wish list, it's on sale for 40% off." If they do that, that'd be pretty cool. And like us, we're not going to mooch anything, but my link to my wish list will be in the comments.
Fucking douche. Hey, the initiative, they're hiring some more employees. The good news keeps rolling in, I guess, depending on who you are. The Sunset, I think, who is this, Colt? The creative director that ran Sunset Overdrive on Xbox?
Yeah, Drew something. I don't remember. I just remember his face. He was like, I got a really big job. It's pretty cool. Yeah, and I was talking about, like, geez, with the people they've hired with Initiative, they've got somebody from Rockstar, somebody from Naughty Dog, somebody from Sony Santa Monica, right? Yeah. And like I was joking with the dealer, I'm like, all they need to do is grab somebody from Sucker Punch and Polyphony, and they've got some talent from the Sony stage. So it's pretty amazing. The dealer goes, don't take anybody from Polyphony.
No,
they don't need it for racers.
Polyphony have been getting steamrolled since 2004 when the first Forza came out, and I don't know what real talent's left there. They just have failed to deliver in a lot of different areas. They've spent a lot of time though on the visuals of the game, like the vents in the car have ambient occlusion, separate ambient occlusion and stuff. Really cool stuff. That's nothing that someone from Turn 10 can't do. They just haven't done it because they release on a bi-yearly schedule. We had been saying that I think this will be like the first time you may see Forza Motorsport 8 maybe in 2020. Then they might take 3 years for the first time to kind of add and step that shit up. So yeah, definitely don't cop anybody from Polyphony. I did want to add to the Gears of War topic because I do think, and I said this on Twitter, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Gears 5. It comes out next year. It's been confirmed. It's going to be the biggest game, one of the biggest games of that year. It's going to be one of the best looking of that year. We know it's running at 60. It's supposed to scale size 4K. It's going to look beautiful.
Tell them what Rod said about Gears 5, about the surprises. You kind of said in your video.
I mean, we might have already talked about that. I don't remember. But what I really wanted to say was that people have to remember, because people are down because of Gears 4. Yeah. I said this a million times. Gears 4 had 2 acts of padding, the robot stuff. Some people liked it, some didn't. I didn't like the predictability of it, walking into a courtyard, knowing that fucking robots are going to fall from the sky 10 seconds before they did. There was some padding, but keep in mind that was a new team, new studio, 2.5 years to make that, on a new engine, having to make all those assets from the ground up. Now they've got 3 years with substantially more employees. They're taking all the risks they want to take, they said, and they've already had all the base technology built. So they've got a lot more time to focus on narrative and things like set pieces. I just have a lot more faith in the new game. So
I'm concerned
there. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I'm a little concerned myself. That's all. I'm a huge Gears fan. I read all the books.
It's going to have co-op. Come on.
I'm assuming it will, but I'm all on board for changes and stuff like that. Like, the game looks great, both visually, and I'm sure the gameplay will be fantastic, but I don't really know what the gameplay is yet. It's a cover-based shooter, and now that it's like an open sandbox, you can't put waist-high cover everywhere in an open world. It'll just be ridiculous looking. So I'm interested to see what they've done. Is it going to be Gears of War by name alone almost now with this new one? I'm excited and concerned at the same time that it might deviate a little too much from my liking.
Maybe there's a reason why they're calling it Gears 5 and dropping the of War.
No,
maybe they are shaking up a couple things.
That's going to have a battle or a set piece. You're going to have It's not going to take place out in a field. I think the places you're talking about are going to be kind of the areas that you're going to be driving the little sled thing, right? And of course you're not going to have buildings and cover everywhere, but I think the places that you go, you'll bail on that and walk into those areas. You know what I'm saying? They'll be kind of dense urban areas.
I think you should look at Division, bud. Like, Division's a huge open world, MMO, so to speak. And if you look at them, they're a cover-based shooter, and they didn't have any problem doing that. And if you looked at Division 2, same thing. They didn't have any problem making maps like that. So I think you should, if you're worried, cool, but I understand what you're saying. And
well, then beyond
terrorist,
like with the whole, like, everyone's excited for more narrative and more, like, I don't want to play a cinematic adventure Gears of War. I don't want to be putting my controller down every 5 minutes to watch a 5-minute cutscene. If they can introduce all this narrative in some kind of a fresh gameplay mechanic, I'm all on board. But I'm tired of watching endless cutscenes. They don't wow me anymore like they used to when I was younger.
Scenes, and it won't be every 5 minutes. But yeah, you might have to actually, if you're playing the story mode, you might have to pay attention to the story.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if they can give me the story while I'm playing in some fashion, as opposed to just constant cutscenes. Like, I don't want a heavy cutscene-driven Gears of War. I'm not that desperate for Gears' story. I read the books. The books are fantastic.
Like heavy cutscenes. We don't know how it's going to work. I just think that it's going to be an improvement in every way. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. We do have to move forward, though, to Phil Spencer, kind of talking about the Xbox 2 once more, along with Project xCloud, whatever. You made a video on this, Zalker, not too long ago, where he did kind of go in. He kind of reaffirmed that he wanted to be the best place to play games. They were talking about being the benchmark, which is really odd because, you know, with PS5, we're going to talk about here in a little bit. It's looking like that's going to be a bigger challenge than we thought. But essentially, he's reconfirming that he wants to have the best performance. That means more 60 FPS games. He wants to have the best boot times, D-batch. What do you think you're going to do to make games start up faster? Because he really did. He knows something. When he's saying that, that's what he does. When he says something like, I want games to start faster, that means he already knows that they are doing that, and they're doing it in some different way. What do you think they're doing to make that happen?
I honestly think we're going to get some SSDs in this next generation consoles. Solid state hard drives, they're really cheap now, man. They've dropped down a lot in price. I think
if it came down to a hard drive that's twice as expensive or even 3 times as expensive for the same capacity, or extra 40% of the GPU power, do you think they're going to compromise there?
I'm not quite sure. Another route that they could take is I forget the term that Intel uses it, but it's a special like drive, and it's not a solid state drive. They use it in conjunction with a normal hard drive.
Octane.
Yeah, about Optane. They could do like a method like Optane, where
use it as a cache.
That's right. Use it as a cache, so it's just loading up everything quickly because everything's in the cache, right? So they could use that method too if cost is going to be a factor. But in all honesty, I think they could broker themselves a good deal with a company to get some cheaper solid state hard drives in the next Xbox. I'm hoping.
Well, I guess we'll see how they manage to do that. When it comes to the xCloud stuff, and he did talk once again about the CPU, GPU balance. We know that's going to be using Zen. That's what he's talking about. It'll be much more in balance. I've said several times, I think this is going to be the most balanced console of all time, meaning you're going to have the least bottlenecks you've ever had, meaning the most complete set of features and games you've ever had. So I think there's a lot of good to be had there. But he did talk about the xCloud stuff there, Zalker. Do you remember what he said in terms of time frame and people's paranoia?
Well, yeah, he said that, you know, it's an exciting thing, but he also said that it's very far away, if ever it's going to be the prime way to play your games. And he just said he just wants it. Yeah, if ever. Like he just, you know, and he's like, I just want this to be an exciting time for everybody to get their game. He just wants you to take your game wherever you want, and he thinks it's a great option for you to play. And it, you know, and it's pretty awesome. And the tech behind it, I can't wait till they showcase it and talk about it, because it being integrated with Xbox Live and then your system and then your phone or wherever you're going to play, that's pretty hardcore stuff, people. I don't know if you understand how much coding goes into that and how innovative it is, especially when they've been talking about it a little like, you know, they brought it up at E3, they brought it up at XO, they brought it up everywhere. And they've said that it's going to be pretty much the best one. And that's pretty confident for them to talk like that. So I'm excited to see that. And yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome, man. I can't wait to see that.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to everybody watching live, guys. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Look down below the videos, a little thumbs up. You just click on that. You finger bang the shit out of that little button until it lights up. And that's the like button. We do thank you. Yeah, you know what? I was telling Rand at a party not too long ago that the way Phil's talking, bring your games. Everyone should be able to play their games when they want to play them, blah, 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 blah. If this costs any money at all, Phil Spencer's going to take a big L. But one, I don't think their competitors not charging you money to play your games where you want to play them. I think you just buy the game and you play them where you want to play them, that being Google Stream. But the way Phil's talking, he's always talking about player freedom and choice. And I think Phil legitimately wants this to happen. if they charge you or make you be an Xbox Live member to use this, or charge you a yearly fee to use this, it's an L, and Phil will get attacked for that. And I think
a gold member, you mean? Yeah, if they charge that, you have to have an Xbox Live
you
gold
gotta have
account.
an Xbox Live account anyway to buy anything. But I do think that that's a big L there. I think that the incentive of better sales alone, because we talked about this before, if you got 50 million X1s, for instance, by the time this launches or more, developer chooses to enable it for streaming, that's their incentive, is to open that 50 million market up to 600-700 million, and that's lowballing it. They're talking about 2 billion. So let's just lowball it. The incentive for publishers to say yes to this for absolutely free is access to hundreds of millions of more customers for no charge, and they can sell more copies, untold amounts of copies.
Yes.
I mean, do you kind of see where I'm coming from?
Yoda. Colt, if you don't mind me going, people don't understand what they're not going to charge for this. Them putting the Xbox app and then the Game Pass app. I remember when they put the Xbox app on iPhone, people were like, "Huh, why would you put it there?" Because they're setting a foundation for the fucking cloud, people. That's where it's going to be connected to your account, and you're going to log onto that account and then go to your games that you own and launch it from there through your Wi-Fi, through whatever. That's what they're doing. And that's why people are like, oh, the Xbox app's a little slower, blah, blah, blah. It's because they're getting that shit ready. They're integrating so much data into it that you have no idea what they're trying to do. They're just putting footholds everywhere right now. That's what they do. They're integrating slowly within every system so you can understand how powerful this thing could be. You're going to be able to play this everywhere. Huh?
They're setting themselves up, I think, in a really good way for the future.
Oh yeah, they're the new Skynet, bro. They're coming for us. They're gonna be everywhere. Everybody, watch out! I'm scared.
Hey, Mike D, they're changing right before our eyes. I'm scared. Mike D in the chat, he said something that's probably accurate. Phil's talking about boot times is starting up faster. He could be referring to download times. It could be. Mike D says quick start or fast start. What they unveiled at E3 for Game Pass.
Which is
they are going to be expanding that, and that could be a big part of starting games faster, right?
Oh yeah, and it's already working, right? I've already tried that thing, and it works. I've already launched games.
Creolo in the super chat says xCloud will be amazing. I've got no doubt they're going to do a very good job at it. I'm going to go kill my cat because I'm fighting the door now. xCloud and all that stuff. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. InXile talking about their acquisition and their new unannounced game that Microsoft were apparently very keen on. Colt, go ahead and take it.
What? Say again?
In InXile's acquisition, they talked about their unannounced game and how Xbox is very keen on it.
Oh yeah, I can't talk very much about that because I haven't looked into it other than them saying they're working on multiple projects. But I would pass that on to someone else.
I got it then. If unless anybody else has something to say.
No, go Zucker.
Okay, yeah. So in InXile, they had a huge interview. The CEO did, and he talked about the acquisition and how it was very pretty smooth. They came to them in April, and they talked about an unannounced game that was one of the reasons why he believes they got bought by Microsoft, because they liked how it was innovative and how it can really adapt well to the console and everything like that. And they talked about Wasted Lands and how everything promised before the deal is going to go according to plan. So I think Wasted Lands come into PlayStation, it's come in wherever it goes, because Microsoft didn't want to force anything on them. They just said, hey, meet your obligations. We understand. But this game that you haven't announced, that game's for us. That's the way it went. And so this game, then they said that they've been working on it for a while. They even talked about expanding their studio by 30 to 40%. And that's 70 people plus, he said, about 15 to 20 contractors. So he's talked about how that was one of the big reasons Xbox bought them, was the new game, and how they got 80 to 100-hour games out with only like 30 to 40 people working on the game. So they're very resourceful, man.
They had one arm tied behind their back before. Now they are free to fly.
Fly, Pelican.
The Shady, what are your thoughts on all that, huh?
I haven't played any InXile games myself, so I mean, to speak really on it would be ignorant.
Well, obviously, find them to steal their IPs and suck them dry, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's what these big corporations do, baby. No, I've heard some good stuff about it. That new Wasteland 3 game, the graphics look insane, so I'm excited about just to see the game. But I hope they come out and swing with the new money and stuff that they have access to with Microsoft. These companies are all claiming that they were hindered before due to the budgets of these games and stuff like that. Whereas now that's all been handed to them. I hope they can come out and hit some home runs.
Hey, Landos in the super chat says RDX cast is the best cast. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. I think it's awesome, man. And people that are fear mongering this, shame on you, bad dog. It's just, it's very rude of you to do that. No, they're all saying that they're happy about this. Like, what is Ninja Theory lying? Is InXile lying? Is Obsidian lying? Are they all liars? Or were they kind of going through financial struggles and they were told that, hey, you can make whatever you want. Here's the contract. And they're good to go. Like,
yeah, man. Yeah, and then Shady brought up the graphics of Wasteland. The CEO actually brought that up and said, we have the budget to actually go next level with our graphics now. They said it was too expensive to make their games the most graphical, showpieces that they could. And he's like, I'm excited to do this. And he's like, this is the first time in my career I never had to worry about keeping the lights on. He's like, and actually hiding that fact for my employees. He goes, it's so liberating. And that's like awesome, man. Yeah, it's like, yeah, guys, we're fine. Keep working. He goes in his office. Shit.
Yeah, like parents hiding a divorce.
Oh man.
Hey, Ripley, does that kind of give you confidence in their ability to? Because everyone's like, what if they're making Limbo? And it's like, we know they're not. They literally told you they're working on RPGs. Like, does that give you confidence for the future?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's. I really hate when people are. Excuse me. I hate when people are comparing this Microsoft to the Microsoft from 2007 or 2008 with Don Metric, when they're saying, oh, they're going to buy a studio and they're going to just shut it down afterwards. I mean, it's not the same, executives. You have Phil Spencer, who really loves gaming and he's really passionate about the industry, and he wants Xbox gamers to have as much exclusives and the best exclusives as we can. And it's going to be good. I really have a good confidence, high confidence in Phil Spencer. And also the people
volumes, right? Their actions have spoken volumes, right? Like they've improved their policies, they've done a bunch of pro-consumer things. Like,
honestly, in the last couple of years, what they've done, I mean, they've turned around the brand so. I can't even explain. I mean, I've seen Xbox One almost, failing when they were saying in 2013, and Phil Spencer took the ship and he just did a 180, and you have Game Pass, you have all these great services, and it's really going very pro-consumer.
Well, now though, those services only exist, these new games and studios only exist to bolster the, Game Pass. It's like, oh my God, guys, just stop pulling shit out of your ass.
And also, the worst thing I can't stand when they're saying that, they bought this studio and where's the games? I mean, come on, they bought the studio 6 months ago. You expect them to pull the game. I mean, come on, it takes at least 2 to 3 years to make a brand new video game, and especially a AAA video game. And these studios are also working on other games. So sometimes when people are saying stuff, it's just
what's cool is Matt Booty had actually already confirmed that you're going to see stuff from these studios very soon, which people should be talking about. Instead, they're worried about getting a Winnie the Pooh game.
Yeah,
I think they should get Cliffy B out of retirement and get a game out in 6 months. Radical Heights, Xbox exclusive. Here we go.
Radical Heights 2.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 4K 60 frames. Yeah.
That was well said, Ripley. Devs are suggesting PS5's launch in 2020, according to Kotaku and more. And apparently, according to some of the stuff, PS5 to have a small mid 2019 reveal and a full blowout at PSX, according to this new rumor. Specs that are coming from people that were saying PS4 Pro really had 8 teraflops of compute performance. I'm like, that's not a credible source. Stop linking me to that. D, what are your thoughts? Mid 2020 seems right, but it kind of is thrown off by places like Activision saying, hey, Infinity Ward's next Call of Duty game is a next generation Call of Duty being developed for next generation platforms. That comes out in 2019.
Yeah, it's I'm still sticking by the 2019 date. I still think they'll release it in 2019, but anything could happen. It could be pushed back to 2022. It depends on what they're finding out about Microsoft's next Xbox. if they're finding it's going to be substantially more powerful than the PlayStation 5, then maybe they want to retool some things and launch a year later. Next year would make sense as it's their 25-year anniversary. The specs seem credible. Like that document that I did a video on, some of the specs are matching up with that document. Now I don't think everything in that document was gospel. It's all rumor, but we're starting to hear a lot of the same things. We keep hearing that it's going to have a Zen processor and a Navi GPU, and we keep hearing that it's going to be, it looks like it's going to be at 6. Sometimes I see 6 threads, sometimes I see 8 threads. I just know it's going to be substantially more powerful than what we have this generation. And the
minimum,
and the $500 price tag. Well, that's what they want to launch with. You don't really want to go higher than $500, as I think it would at that point kind of miss most people. They'd still be getting current gen. I think $500 is the right price point, and I don't think it's going to be 8 teraflops. I think it's going to be between. I think at the very minimal, it's going to be 10 teraflops, but we're looking anywhere from like 11 to 12 teraflops to be realistic.
Yeah, the thing with the specs is the stuff that is right is stuff that we had talked about well past last year before there were any leaks. We said it will have 16 gigs of RAM, the common sense shit, right?
Right.
8 core, it will be using Ryzen, things like that. And that's the thing that obviously makes sense. But there's a leak out there, 11.2 teraflops precisely. There's some other stuff out there, 6 threads, not really buying it. I would definitely say 8 threads for sure. I don't think they're going to reduce the core count, even though they're much more efficient. I don't know, 2020 seems about right, but that's what I'm hearing now more than anything is 2020. And then, yeah.
I just want to ask you. So the leak that came out, I think it was like yesterday it came out on Reddit. Now, this guy apparently he also leaked that Sony would not be at E3, and he leaked it about 3 days before the actual announcement. So it does give him some type of credibility. But what did he say? How many cores did he actually say that the PlayStation 5 would have? He actually said like the actual core count. I think he said it.
Shit.
Or it could be wrong. I'm sorry.
No, I get these leaks mixed up, bro. There's been like 4 in the last several months.
Yeah, this is the latest one. This is the Reddit one. This one came like.
Did you do a video on it? You could tell us, right?
No, I actually didn't do a video on it.
Maybe
but from my recollection, I think he was saying it had 8 cores. So
yeah, which is what the last one said. Yeah.
So I kind of want to tend to believe him a little bit more, just for the simple fact that he leaked that PlayStation was not going to be at E3 3 days before, and like nobody could have called that one. So I think it's definitive at this point that we're going to get Ryzen and Vega. And, I think it's going to do 4K 60. Like I can't see like what else is there for them to do. They got to do 4K 60. We're getting 4K 30 pretty much this generation now. They're going to want to trump that, and 4K 60 I think is the sweet point where even some PC guys that don't want to fork out all the cash on a high-end PC would say, you know what, 4K 60, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they could do a much better job. Like like Battlefield 5. You got a bunch of turds talking about Battlefield 5 and medium settings on Xbox One X. They, of course, forget to compare it to the PS4 Pro. Magically, they forget to talk about the Pro, right? The competition. Keep in mind.
Because the Pro is not a threat to the PC specs, I guess.
I guess that's how their mindset when we're just saying it's a great value for the money because it is. They're comparing it to their $1,500 or $1,200 at minimum $2,000 PCs, right?
Which is stupid. Like the video that I did like a couple weeks ago with the Battlefield comparison, and yeah, Battlefield did look better on the PC, but the Xbox One X version looked phenomenal. And like my PC is like almost $3,000, and the Xbox One X is like $500. Like, come on, like
you have to explain how settings on PC work. So if you've got mediums, because the X is running medium across the board with the exception of basically terrain, density at distance, stuff like that, right? So you've got medium settings pretty much across the board. If you've got medium settings across the board, that means you've got a well-rounded, filled-out game world, right? And that's what they were aiming for. Instead of maxing one thing out and going low here, they tried to make everything look pretty good. And medium on PC does look pretty good. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
No, it does.
If you go up to high, and especially ultra, you're sacrificing more performance for less of a benefit in most cases. This has been proven on Digital Foundry over and over.
Yeah.
So I of course, high is better than medium. I would prefer it to be on high. But I'm explaining why they went that route. They kept it at 4K, whatever, 60, right? Because it is running 4K a lot of the times, according to Digital Foundry.
Wait, I have to fix this because
It's not running 4K all the time. It's just a few times it hits.
It's 90% of 4K most of the time, but I got to fix this because we get so far off of this, this fake standard of what the Xbox One X is supposed to do. When they said uncompromised 4K, what they actually meant, and they've been very transparent about this in the beginning when they said uncompromised 4K, was that they wouldn't have to lower settings below what they already were to hit 4K. And so what you're seeing on Battlefield is one of the rare instances where they've shown the game running at medium settings across the board. Most of the time, there's been a lot of high settings mixed in, right, Dealer?
Mm-hmm.
And so here, they're keeping things at medium. They're not compromising by using low settings to get 4K 60, and the game's running pretty close to 4K 60 on a $500 console. And like Dealer said, they're showing an i7 7700K.
Did you guys watch the analysis of Battlefield 5?
Yeah, it's 3,554 by 1896.
At its lowest. At its lowest, yes.
At most of the time, they said it rarely hits 4K. I watched it.
Yeah, so it's most of the time it's running at around 90%.
It actually hits 4K much more often than they thought. I mean, maybe it's a mix of the two, but at the very least, it's impressive with the fidelity that this engine is offering, even at medium settings. I dare you to look at that game and say it's ugly. If you do, you're a fucking liar.
And Digital Foundry uses the same computer, the PC build they've been using the past year and a half, which is that i7 7700K, I think, with a 1080. Were they using a 1080 Ti in this one? They usually swap out the graphics cards as needed.
They're now moving everything up to the 20 series.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, you're looking at an $1,800. No lower than $1,600 PC build, and you're like, well, look, the $500 Xbox isn't doing it.
Yeah.
So understand that's my takeaway. I ran off for a minute there, but understand what uncompromised 4K means. It means they're not going to compromise the visuals to try and hit 4K. They're not going to go low settings. They're not going to go sub 30 FPS or sub 60 FPS. You're not going to run the game at 45 FPS. And
uncompromised meaning from the base model box, you're saying that things are only going to go up in terms of settings or stay the same, but obviously resolutions boost. And they didn't word that correctly. They should have bulletproofed their statement. They didn't do it properly, and that's why they're getting hammered. But a lot of people run with that like it was an intentional fucking. Look at Red Dead. Everyone that's hating on this uncompromised 4K thing, look at Red Dead and then shut the fuck up.
I don't think Microsoft thought.
I
don't think Microsoft that they would have to bulletproof that statement, because on the offset it looks like it was going to cover it, because look at 90% of the X enhanced games are blowing people out of the water with what they're doing on cheap hardware.
With the developers they had up there, and keep in mind, a lot of these people were developers, and they were talking about their game specifically. Like they had the guy from Turn 10 up there, the highest frame rate, the best, highest detailed pixels we've ever had. He's talking about Forza 7 in that clip, right? Yeah. There's another guy in there talking about his game. They are developers talking about the highest resolution. Like, it's not Microsoft employees there coming together and saying, yeah, let's just make general statements. We're talking about their specific games.
And to be fair, those games did come out in native 4K.
A lot of them did, yeah.
I think every first-party game in year one almost came out at native 4K or 4K 60 even. So
I think it's remarkable that Battlefield maintains its 60 frames per second, regardless if it hits 4K all the time. It's a constant 60 frames per second with so much action on the screen. And of course, you got the online component. I think it's excellent. It's the best version on console by far. And I think it's better than Call of Duty. Got to be honest. I think it's in a different league.
I think the developers should stop pushing the 4K thing. And if Battlefield, people are giving Battlefield 5 shit for being medium settings, even though it looks really good. They're comparing it to their PCs and they're forgetting the Pro exists, right? But they're still giving it shade, right? The developers should say, fuck it. Let's do 1440p Ultra because the X could do it.
Yeah.
Why not? They said they try to hit this 4K thing, and I guess it's great for marketing, but if it were 1440p, people would be laughing up a storm. But if it said Ultra, I think people would understand that it looks better in the end.
And like we were saying earlier in the show, you got like the Samsung Q9, Q8, and U8000, Q7s that support 1440p, 120 hertz, so they could leave an uncapped frame rate on that game. And those of us that have those TVs, it would run so buttery smooth. And 1440p upscale to 4K, it still looks fantastic.
You mean crispy smooth? Just correct.
Yes, that's right.
Katie, you played a good amount of Battlefield 5, and I got to stress again, the game just looks really goddamn good.
It's incredible. If those are medium settings, do we know what the other platforms like the old Xbox or the S or the vanilla PlayStation or Pro, are those all medium settings as well, just different resolutions, or are they lower settings?
Well, resolution takes up the vast majority of performance hit, so
yeah,
it's probably until ray tracing, of course. Now ray tracing fucks you no matter what card you're on, but yeah, I mean, it could be like Red Dead 2 almost has the same settings across the board on every console, just different resolutions, right?
Okay.
So I don't know. I just think it looks really good. I don't care what the fuck is running at, honestly. Just like Tomb Raider, still looks really good. And a lot of those high and medium settings, God, just swapping back and forth. I'm like, it looks great on both. I'm sorry, I can't lie. So yeah.
And the X is $400 right now, people. Like, you can't beat that, man.
I just have to say real quick that Mark Cerny's in the chat, everyone, if you want to just give a little look over there. Mark Cerny said the X can't do native 4K, only PCs can. Phil Spencer lied to you.
He's full of shit.
Yeah, there's over 100 games on the Xbox One X that hit native 4K, and some at native 4K 60. So Mark Cerny said that the Pro could do 8.4 teraflops if you're running 32-bit like it was last gen.
16-bit. But he also
did.
You needed 16-bit operations, and he said you needed 8 teraflops to do 4K or true 4K.
Oh yeah. That's what he said.
Red Dead Redemption 2, the best looking game of all time, says otherwise. Sorry.
Yep.
Hey, Dealer, I just want to your super chat. Someone said they have a question here. They said, do you guys think Scarlett will use 7nm Navi or 7nm Vega? That's from Alex1324.
I do think it'll be 7nm. Most likely, just like with the Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, they are hybrids. So Pro is a hybrid of Polaris and Vega. So is the X. A lot of people don't know that. The X uses Delta color compression, stuff like that from Vega. So those two are hybrids, and they might do the same with the next one. Do you think, D?
Yeah, I think so. Well, we're hearing so many rumors that the PlayStation 4 is going to have Navi exclusive, like on the console front. So I don't know how much I believe that anymore. I think they might have their own custom version of Navi, and the Xbox will have a different version of Navi, or they also too could go with 7nm Vega as well. So it's and make their own hybrid like what they've done the previous generation. So it's kind of hard to tell. Only thing that we know for sure is that it's going to be on 7nm.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to almost 600 people watching live, guys. Finger bang that like button. We appreciate it. Either way, D, I don't care if it's using the Architecture Pass Navi. Phil Spencer had already spoken on being the benchmark, meaning the fastest system in 2020, essentially. And no matter what they're using, they get a Navi all themselves. It doesn't matter. Yeah. You get a 7nm Vega chip in there, you're going to be able to clock that thing pretty damn high. And who knows what they're going to do to it.
I just want to add real quickly, Microsoft, they're software wizards. Let's just be honest here. They could also be working in conjunction with AMD to create something completely different, some completely of their own, and hence why they can make such a statement like this.
Well, either way, I got to say Battlefield 5 looks good. I've been having a blast playing that, guys. I can tell everyone here is fucking dying. We do want to thank you guys for joining us for the podcast. We're going to go get some games on. Enjoy your holiday week, your Thanksgiving week if you're here in the States. And once more, hit that like button as we get some outros. We do appreciate it. Once again, patrons, game giveaway happening on Thursday. I'm going to post about that right after the show. And keep in mind, the first Saturday of every single month, I'm doing the patron live stream. We had a blast last week playing Forza, or last month playing Forza Horizon 4. That was fucking fun as hell. Who knows what we're going to play this next month. So keep your eye there as well. I'll post about that. So I'm giving away Battlefield 5 along with like 13, 14 other games. I have to keep track because I keep buying new games. I just bought 2 more. So that stuff will be on Patreon. That link is down below. If you want to become a patron sponsor or anything like that, you are appreciated. So once more, outros, D-Batch. What have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield, to be honest with you. Battlefield and Hitman is what I'm playing right now. You can find me at Twitter at D_batch. and on YouTube at dbatch. And I just did a video a couple days ago to help you guys out with your Black Friday shopping. I put some great Black Friday TV and gaming deals on there. So if you want to see what they are, just check out my video.
Yes, check out D-Batch's video. We've also got Colt Eastwood. What have you been playing, bud? Where can people find you?
Everybody thinks I'm playing Red Dead Redemption right now because my game's on pause. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm at like a very pinnacle moment, and I was actually trying to see if I could get through it before the show started. Yeah, I am on YouTube and Twitter at Colt Eastwood. Watch my latest video I put out today. It kind of it might be something to share with a friend who thinks Xbox ain't gonna have no games because they've got some serious DNA. I don't. That sounds gross. They've got some serious talent, and all their studios working on stuff right now, and it's kind of a good look at what to expect. So, yeah. Anyway,
check that video out at Colt Eastwood on YouTube. We've also got Ripley, man. Thanks for coming on, joining us, man. I know we kind of got lost in the tech discussion there, but we do appreciate your input on the subjects. And where can people find you, man? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon 4. It's, I mean, Forza, I easily put hundreds of hours into that franchise. It's especially Horizon ones. It's such an open world. It's really fun. All these different things you can do and make your own races. And Battlefield 5, it's a very beautiful looking game. It runs amazingly on 60 frames. It's really fun. It's better than Call of Duty. Whoops. But it's I got tired of COD. But you can find me on Twitter, gaming_Ripley. That's where I'm at. Then
gaming_Ripley.
Yep. And well, the whole tech discussion.
Channel or anything?
Yeah, it's a small channel. I haven't been making videos in months. I've been studying. Actually, the funny thing is, I'm studying software engineering. So I've been just programming for most of the time. So I
what
just...
up? I'm a software engineer. I'm a computer scientist. Good job, man.
I love it. I'm learning Python for now, and it's really fun. I like it. It's but I've been just playing programming. I've been playing much of my Xbox in the last few months, but if I have a chance, I'll put like a couple hours into some kind of game once in a while.
We'll give out your YouTube video, your YouTube information just in case.
Yeah, it's also it's gaming with Ripley, same as my my name here. It's it's a small channel. It's nothing compared to you guys, but
well, if people want to find you, man, they can. If you guys want to find Ripley on Twitter, he's always active on Twitter. Just go to my post about joining us live, and his Twitter link is there as well. Thanks for joining us, Ripley.
Oh, and thank you for having me. Much appreciated. I've been listening to you guys for a long time, and it's awesome to join.
No problem. I reached out to you. I'm going to have King David and Incognito on here soon, just getting some good people, the community on the show, mixing it up, man. Try to have some people on and just get the word out there, you know. So, hey, we've also got So Shady, the leader and lord of the Sush Empire. He is, what have you been playing, bud? Where can people find you?
Now, very recently, I've been playing Spyro. It's damn good, man. Oh, it's very bright, plays good, nice open world platformer, a lot of collectathon, 3,000 achievement points waiting. I've been playing a lot of that, and today, actually, I just got Battlefield 5, and my gosh, I've got a lot of time in with the EA trial, and it's just mind-blowing. Like, stunning comes to mind. The amount of stuff on screen while you're playing in the multiplayer is staggering. The level design, fantastic. Sound design, great. Graphics, even at medium settings, melting my face off. So you can find me online there for sure, taking names. I'm also on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. We're about to kick down 500 agents following over there, which I think is pretty cool. It'd be sweet to get there maybe within the next week. Otherwise, you'll find me here every Tuesday on RDX, man. Have a good week, everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of odd how getting those, just banging out those achievements in Spyro, for instance, just kind of makes that, for some reason, just a little more fulfilling. I don't know what it is. I'm a whore.
It does.
Okay, we got Zauker. What have you been playing, bud? Where can people find you?
As you guys can tell, I've been playing Battlefield. If you saw my review, I've been playing Rocket League, trying to get past Diamond rank. I've been playing Red Dead Redemption. I've been playing too many games, man, but it's been a damn good time.
About to start Far Cry?
Yeah. Got to start Far Cry 5. Actually, I just got that, so that's going to happen when I'm done with Red Dead. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm going to make a video tomorrow about something about the 2 biggest games in November. You guys look out for that. You can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter. And then go to my channel, Zalker87. Check out my videos, you know, very gaming oriented, obviously. And yeah, it's a great time tonight. Ripley, thanks for coming, bud. And if anybody wanted to know, Python is a very beginner-friendly programming language. Check it out.
Okay. Well, no one wanted to know that.
I just said it. I don't.
Okay.
I love Python. It's really
How about
fun.
you, dealer? Tell us who you are and what you've been playing.
I
And,
hate snakes.
yeah, and spiders.
I've been playing a little bit of Red Dead. I've been playing the fucking Spyro game, which is blowing my mind that I'm even enjoying playing the game. I picked up the Crash Bandicoot because, like many of you in the chat, fellow frauds, you started out on the PS1 or maybe the Dreamcast or the Sega CD, whatever it was. You ended up on the PS1, and Spyro and Crash, they were big parts of that. Spyro was developed.
Back in the Box Odyssey.
Yeah, Spyro was developed by Insomniac Games. The first 3 were, and I'm telling you, I don't remember them being this intricate. I know they're remade and modern mechanics, but the maps and stuff, the game design is really, really well done, man, for a game that old. And it looks just mind-blowing. Like I said, it's a crime there's no HDR to just blow those colors out and kind of fill that out properly, but I'm just having a good time with it. What can I say? It's a brain dead game. Run around, collect the jewels, fucking save the dragons. You know, it's simple. So you just chilling, wind it down, play some Spyro, and lose some cool points. But at the end of the day, guys, like I said, thanks for joining us. You guys are awesome. If you want to follow people like Lethal Papa, for instance, his link is down in the description. Follow him on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Dealer Gaming on Twitter, Dealer_gaming. Somebody asked what my gamer score or my gamer card was. It's II space Dealer space II on Xbox Live. And of course, that stuff is linked in the description of this video. Once again, guys, thanks for everything you do. We're out.
Peace. Shout out to Lethal Papa.
I jumped in twice.
Later.
Take it easy.
I signed it twice.
I jumped.